name is Nitish Agarwal, and I'm from International School of Business and Media, Pune. And what I'll be discussing today is a theory which states the hands-on and the minds-on theory. It's a theory which says that your hands, as well as your mind, as well as your brains should work simultaneously, right? It should work together. And for a manager, for a leader, it's very important for the hands to be on and for the minds to be on together, right? This word together is more important than anything else in this theory. Now what happens is sometimes there are lots of questions raised in the minds of the people that what is more important, whether being practical is more important for a manager, for a leader, or it's more important to have that theoretical knowledge. I mean, even the students or even the B schools nowadays, I mean, the different kinds of B schools in the different categories of students, right? Now, many students often tell you, okay, fine, I'm very practical, I don't study, I just study, 1 hour before the exams and I'll end up getting good marks in my exams. Whereas in many B schools, in many other B schools, I mean, they follow this case study kind of teaching, the case study kind of MBA, and the case study kind of management. Other students, they feel as if, theoretical knowledge, the more you study, the more you brush up your skills, the more you learn, the more you spend times in the books, it's rather what makes you successful. Whereas in other B schools, what you get is they follow this more theoretical way of teaching and less of case studies and less of practical stuff. So what I mean to say by giving you these examples of the B school and giving you these examples of students and different categories of students and B schools is just I want to tell you all that it's very important for your practical brains, for your practical case studies, for your mind wide range of thinking, wide range of ideas to come together with your knowledge, to come together with your basics, to come together with your theoretical knowledge. Because if you're having only theoretical knowledge and you're not having a practical way of thinking, you're not having that broad practical way, or your hands are not moving, then you don't get success in your life. Whereas on the other side, if your only hands are moving, that is you're only practical and you're always in the books and you're always learning, you're always spending time, then that does not work out that way. If only your brains are working. So it's very important for somebody to have a broad way of thinking, which is your hands, as well as your theoretical knowledge to be very clear, which is your brains. So you should have a mixture of hands as well as brains, right? I'll just illustrate this theory by giving you a very common example, right? I'm sure most of you will know what chef is all about and what cooking is all about and what recipe books are all about. Now just focusing on the recipe books, okay? I don't know anything about cooking. What I'll do is I'll just go I'll just purchase a recipe book, I'll just come to my house and I'll keep it in my kitchen and I'll prepare different recipes, right? But then by doing that, just by reading the recipes and by cooking different, you know, food items, different dishes, do I become a chef or do I become a very good cook or do I become a chef of five-star hotel who is talented in everything? I don't, right? Why? Why do I don't become a chef? That's because I'm not having the theoretical knowledge. I'm not having all the different things which are involved in cooking. The way of furnishing it, the way of dressing the food, the manner of cooking, the quantity to be put in the food. I don't know these things properly. The definitions of food, the definitions of cooking, the definitions of um, keeping the food, how to keep, what is it all about, why do we do it, why do we add so much, and why don't we add so much of sugar and stuff, is because we don't have the theoretical knowledge what the chef is having. So what I mean to say is it's very important for somebody who can just come and prepare a recipe by showing your practical knowledge as if, okay, fine, I'm very practical. But then you cannot become a chef because in order to become a chef, you require the theoretical knowledge as well. So all I need to say is that your theory, your learning is really important. And if your learning comes up with practical ideas, with your practical stuffs of thinking, that adds value. Both things have to go simultaneously, right? Now see, it's like another very great example is I'm sure most of you have seen orchestra leader. Now what does the orchestra leader do? See, I can just act like him and I can just move my hands and I can just go about doing this. But then that is not the correct way of doing it. We people most of the time see the orchestra leader, there's a band, piano, and there are different instruments being played by different experts, and then he's just coordinating all the people in order to come to a conclusion by moving his hands. The way his hands are moving, the same way the musical rhythm is moving as well. Now, is that person not having the theoretical knowledge of music? Does not that person know how to play the different instruments? Does not he know the theory, the definitions, the concepts, the idea behind instruments and music? Of course he does. He has got that theoretical knowledge. And at the same time, he's got that practical knowledge that he's coordinating all the different instruments and he's giving it a practical touch as well. He's not sitting and directing or he's not sitting and just learning this is how you play and this is how you learn, this is what you do. He is maintaining a practicality as well. So in today's world, guys, it's very important to have a practical studies, to maintain a case studies way of teaching, be practical, but then at the same time be having your basics and your concepts very clear, which in other words is your hands should be on and your minds should always be on as well. So this is all about the hands-on and the minds-on theory. Thank you.